Hello, everybody. Welcome to this AI live event, and we will be speaking about the biofield. And let me introduce the subject. This is very important. I don't think people realize the importance, and this is a subject has tackled many times. And I can see students sometimes, coming and finishing the curriculum and going back what we call functional medicine. And I think when we speak about the biofield, the new landmark, the new space where the student will partake, it's very important you understand. So, and let me tell you a little bit about my story. Of course, I started as a medical doctor years ago, 50 years ago. And where we are now with this concept, of pro-consciousness medicine and biofield, is very, we didn't even talk about it 50 years ago. And then in my path, I started, of course, start to study and then my practice learning and homeopathy, acupuncture, and natural medicine, and so on. This was like, try to expand my practice with complementary my practice with medicine. But at this time, even the challenge was starting. And you have to understand that as a medical doctor, my pair would say, hey, you cannot practice these modality, either natural medicine or any type of energetic medicine, because it's not defining the practice of medicine. This was very linear. In other words, you practice with the protocol that is designed, when you study in university and hospital, a protocol that are more defined by pharmaceutic and surgery. And outside of this, like you have no, you are legal. You cannot belong to medicine when you're doing this. And on the other side, people practicing these modality, we were telling them, hey, you cannot do this because you don't have a license. You cannot treat, you cannot diagnose. And I remember at the beginning, even, proposing a glass of water, to to a patient, a client was even questionable. So in other words, we were kind of fringe both sides, and then and even the name of medicine was evolved from alternative, and people didn't like it. It's like you have two choices, and then complementary, and then integrative medicine, which try to bridge everything together. But you have to understand, when you are in medical school, the science to bring these two together, it's almost impossible, because you start from a model that is more linear, materialistic. When you start to understand, how work the mind and how do you put this with the body, you are caught in this Cartesian model that we're talking about. So, and then of course it has evolved. And then came along the whole complementary medicine and the whole field with products and so on. But still, there is like a challenge, because in some way, still doctor natural medicine, licensed doctor natural medicine or acupuncturist, are caught in the same dilemma. So how you get out of this box, and you have to be very, it's very important. Some people can think they understand it. Even today, we come with the model of functional medicine. Functional medicine is kind of a blend of natural medicine, products, diet, and also, of course, they made some room with mindfulness, but still, it doesn't really justify. We are again in this tension. So when we spoke about the biofield, can you put the first slide, please? As a new landmark, let's move on. we create a new space, you know, and this is what I tie to a pro-consciousness medicine. In other words, we start with, you know, where, you know, we can blend these two approach together. And what is important here, this landmark, this field is not regulated now by conventional medicine because in some way they didn't acknowledge it. And in some way, you know, in other words, you cannot talk about access the biofield with a system that don't recognize the nature. So meaning that, you know, working from to redress, restore harmony, imbalance, talking about exponential healthcare, health potential cannot just be included in this concept of biofield. And this field is not regulated. In other words, you know, it's like we get out of this tension to be able to practice this energetic approach if we don't talk anymore in terms of disease and diagnostic, but in terms of health potential. And by the way, the medicine is totally powerless. You know, when they talk about prevention, they can probably do some prevention, you know, doing some using approach where we detect disease, but still we cannot really tackle the ground, the source of these imbalances. This is through the biofield. So in other words, when you end your curriculum, when you end your degree, you become a doctor of natural medicine, integrative medicine, and you approach not disease, but the biofield in terms of health potential, and a new way to look at this health biofield with another type of assessment. You totally out of the realm of the conventional medicine, and this field again, it's a free ground. In other words, you can go there, you can, and this was not existing before. So, and this biofield, you know, from the quantum physics point of view, if we look at an individual, and I have addressed this also in the course of holistic anatomy, you know, is the material aspect of the body, you know, it's like an infime fraction of what is the human reality. 9.999%, you know, is totally biofield. In other words, we try conventionally to approach disease with a model of understanding that is a really fraction of what is the human reality. So when I start to look at how I could, you know, redefine the curriculum of medicine, quantum physics was absolutely very important, because before I didn't have any science to grab that, and this is why we add to our curriculum, you know, guys like Dr. Goswami to lay out the model, the premise of this quantum physics, and later on Dr. Crown, and then Nassim Haramein has add another layer of understanding of this reality. So hopefully everybody is kind of see the difference there, because this is the future of healthcare. The healthcare today is unaffordable. Either USA, Canada, private insurance or government insurance. Nobody can afford this anymore, because probably the budget in Canada, you know, to support the healthcare is probably spent in the last 6 months of life of people with chronic disease and so on. So if we don't have another way to address health prevention defined by what we call exponential healthcare, this is this platform, you know, we are kind of a dead end if we don't have a solid you know, I wouldn't say science to approach a human reality that take care of the totality of the human, you know, we are. So students coming from Quantum University are the future of healthcare. They are critical, you know, to make a difference. And this is, of course, where is the reality of, this is the mission of Quantum University. Now, Biofield is not anymore a weird name. Yeah, I remember, 50, can you imagine 50, 40 years ago, we were not even talking about yoga. We were not talking about life force. We were not talking about, all these energetic approach. Today, we have textbook, and this is another fact that is very important. We start to have a language to communicate with conventional medicine. I spoke about this in the curriculum. Some word like biofeedback also has created like an opportunity. But biofield now is the, I will say, the word of the day, And then who is talking about this? So in other words, we don't belong to a community of practitioners that are, weird, esoteric anymore. Doctors, already textbook can already are already talking about this concept of biofield. Integrative medicine by David Rickwell. I refer to this textbook in one of my integrative medicine course. Bonnie McLean also talk about the biofield. Energy medicine textbook. James Oshman, Jim Osborne, and I have listed 8 of them. I made a search, intensive search to see, where, we hear about this. Holistic complementary medicine textbook, principle of practice of holistic care. Another one, textbook complementary and alternative medicine. Chung Su, Maureen Lockhart, also talking in this subtle energy body. And then I see here Beverly Rubrick. She was one of one of our conference. She's also working with the GDV that has been developed with Korakov, the Russian that has developed a technology to picture the energy field. So in other words, these words and vocabulary become more and more present in the literature. So it's very important. For me, when I first saw Rickwell talking about biofield, I was like very excited. Now I look, and then you have like at least 8 textbooks referring to this concept. So, and this is today what I call pro-consciousness medicine. Why? Because, this medicine is defined to a ground, the ground of being, which is consciousness. And we will see, I have discussed this in many conferences to what is consciousness and how this relate to the field and how we relate this to healing. This and more, emerge new technology to approach this holistic medicine defined by consciousness, and this will be also subject in our next conference, the wellness code. Some students say, "Hey, oh, I already heard about this." No, because there is not a day that I can find online a new approach, quantum biofeedback. There's so many devices that come out there now that are approaching the reality of human through this concept of field. And of course, we cannot assess directly, but we start to blend now different concepts together, Rive with Koi, and then we have also, I spoke also about the arc crystal, which is like a crystal that generates a zero field energy. So, and then here you have this picture, then it's very dear to me. You see the pyramid, which is the project noosphere. I know you probably heard about this. It's a website now. We have like between 300, 800 a day that come and share this intention, heal yourself, heal others. I also spoke about the healing chamber. That is a concept based on Lynn McTaggart's research and Nassim Haramein and others. to explain we can help heal at distance. And this is what is represented in the center of this pyramid beside the Chinaman hat, the Mokoli, and then you have this vortex. And this is a place that I go myself, I picture myself on the top of this little island that has the shape of a pyramid. So that was when I came back from Egypt, I saw this Chinaman hat come in, called, but the real Hawaiian word is mokoli. And then I said, hey, it looks like a pyramid. And then I wrote an article about a blog saying, hey, the Hawaiian pyramid. And one of my students in Canada write me back. He said, hey, do you know that there is an alignment with the Giza pyramid? So I'm not saying it's science, but for me, it has been a place where I go contemplate, meditate, close to nature, and we have localized our project Noosphere just close to it. So, okay, and I want to say here, because in this journey, I'm not like in this field now for a few years, it's 50 years, okay? I have been experienced a lot of tools, and of course, I'm a medical doctor. I use pharmaceutical at the beginning, and then slim, more and more, maybe at the end, 5-10% of my practice was medical, and 90% was holistic. And then, of course, I experienced many tools. I was even in the 80s going in Germany, bring back, at that time we were talking about Kirlian photography, that today is a GDV, dark field microscopy and others, and Vol electroacupuncture, and of course using homeopathic as to help the client, and acupuncture and different alternatives. But and even today, I'm all the time exciting to find a new tool here and there. But bottom line, what is the most important? It's not just the tool and the products and the supplement or homeopathics that I discover along my journey. It's more this reality that is consciousness, through what I call today meditation, for consciousness meditation. This is what has been the ground to relate with my client. Deeper and deeper I will go and relate in meditation with this reality. More and more I will refine and be able to kind of deepen my understanding, not only that, but deepen also my relation with the client. And this is what I kind of also wish for my students, as they study, they experience what it is. So what is this field that we're talking about? The new generation of health coach and doctor, from a disease perspective to health potential, from disease to health assessment parameter, from conventional linear medicine to post-materialistic healing. So can I come back in the studio? Because you just see the PowerPoint now. Okay. So one aspect that is important when we talk about the biofield is also assessment. And it takes time before you refine the language. Because when you are a medical doctor, you come from the point of view of tests and lab that are in search to establish a diagnostic, a disease. When you start to work, and that was at the beginning a little bit my obsession, when you start to work with homeopathy and acupuncture, and so you don't have this repair, you don't have this parameter, because the lab is not reflecting what is happening when you're doing homeopathy and acupuncture. So this is what we call assessment. So and then what will be, and when you study medicine, also the questionnaire become very important, and precise to be able to establish the diagnosis. The same way in holistic medicine, the assessment become very important. Assessment meaning that will put you on the path to go at the source. Many times we say, hey, conventional medicine is symptomatic, It doesn't treat the source, doesn't address the cause. But how you go with the cause, you need to ask the right question. And most of the time, this is related to the emotional body and the spiritual body or the energetic body. And as we go, we have refined, examined question that can reflect the energetic body that is connected with meridian and emotion and so on. So, and then we have developed what we call the quantum assessment. And recently we have added the AI that can ask, let's say, 50 questions, and you come with a portrait, an energetic, emotional portrait of the client. And that we will have this presented at this event, at this code, the wellness code in October. So it's not, our curriculum is not like frozen, right? It evolved all the time, refined this idea. And this is why at this event, we will present new tool to kind of assess this deep reality that is consciousness, and the questionnaire is one piece important. And of course, tools like GDV are very important. And also, how with the mind you can alter the biofield. And this event, we will have like a meditation room, and where we experience in depth. And then, and before and after, the student will have GDV, blood analysis, and so on. So we start to have what I wish for years ago, because, first, when you build a university, you have to design the curriculum, but you need also an internship where you experience medicine from this new point of view. And then we need, there was a time I said, oh, seeing is believing. I think it's still true. But more and more I dig in this, is like believing is seeing. So in other words, more and more you experience what is consciousness, more and more you refine your perspective, your vision in terms of consciousness and health instead of disease. Okay, let's go to the other slide now. And you can see here, it's amazing, okay, because today we have added to our curriculum AI, and it helped me, and not on the way, it excite me to exchange with this AI and refine concept. And then I went on the GP chat, open GP, and then I asked a question about, how you define the field. And I found something interesting, but there was something missing. So here's the biofield is a complex dynamic field of energy and information. The information word here is key, because at the end of the day, consciousness is information. You see, but that envelop and interpenetrate the human body. So this is where you see that there is missing this idea of consciousness, because consciousness is the fabric of reality. In other words, the field is not like, interpenetrating. No, the field is the reality that you see. You understand? It's like the text is explained in some way. There is a separation here, which is the signature of conventional medicine. They separate things. This is where we're missing, the pro-consciousness medicine aspect of it. You follow what I'm saying? We are in the medicine of separation. We do the lab test, the questionnaire. We try to identify something, but most of the time, it's all the time, there is boundaries contributing to the regulation and integration of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Yeah, this is good. It is composed of electromagnetic field, subtle energy, and then myself, I add fluctuation here. And the next slide will explain what we have added with quantum physics to the understanding of the biofield that extend beyond the physical body and interact with both internal physiological process and external. So I'm saying it's not wrong, this definition, but something is missing. Let's go to the second slide. So here we look, maybe it looks a bit weird, this picture now, but this is that was kind of relating to Tesla. Okay, so we talk about quantum fluctuation. And then we start to scrutinize a little bit. And then the quantum fluctuation now kind of are revealed to Planck field oscillations. In other words, it's like, hey, everybody heard about Planck, the Planck constant, and then this kind of the smallest quantity, which is, but you go deeper, you talk about toroidal oscillation. This is an aspect that has been added by Nassim Haramein. It's not just like a little cube, that is represent a tremendous source of energy. No, this is oscillating. And then deeper, you go a little deeper, and then you start to see the whole field as a plasma, which is very interesting. And then you go to the new, not the new, you go back to circle to an old concept of ether. So in other words, when you look at the field, from some perspective, you talk fluctuation, you talk quanta, subquanta, toroidal, plasma, ether, and then of course, trying to grab this with your mind is very difficult. But when you start to go in meditation and access to what I call this gamma, frequency level of, you start to transcend, to access the reality to a deeper level, and start to have a feeling of what is when you are in this mode of, holiness, or feel that you connect with the universe, and then you start to tackle or experience or have a taste what it is consciousness. So so I come back to the previous definition. So this is what is missing. This is what we add with quantum physics. And can you go next slide? So when we go there, then we come with some kind of how quantum physics is helping healing. What are the principles of this new perspective that help you to understand healing? So you shift one important concept is what we call downward causational model. So previously in the conventional model, it's more everything come from the bottom up. In other words, you have physical body, you look deeper, molecule, atom, and then emerge from the activity of the brain, what is consciousness. In the downward is totally the other way. It's like consciousness is the ground of everything. This is kind of a, simplistic way that Dr. Goswami explained, that where is the source? It's like everything become a possibility of that consciousness. So in other words, we start what we call downward causational from top to bottom. So is it important in healing? Oh, yes, it's important in healing. Because can we come back to the studio? It resolves this dichotomy between the mind and the body. So you have to understand, for centuries, since Descartes, they could not understand how work the mind, how work the body. So we have a model now that say, hey, mind and body are both possibility of consciousness. In other words, we blend this together. It's like, it's an event, in the history when we start, if we look at this a little bit, that resolved, century of philosophy and discussion and so on. So this is very important. The other one is also how you access this, another aspect. And then I refer you to this blog called 10 Principles. But another one is like, you access this understanding in more in altered state of consciousness, where your brain is a gamma wave. And of course, there is also research with the Dispenza that really this with the pineal gland. So in other words, you start to, we think we are evolved, okay? But in the history, time to time, you had some individual, either mystic or scientists, that have opened this perspective that is a little bit deeper. And most of the time, and not Dr. Dispenza has illustrated this in his seminar, where people, because they were monitored the brain to brain waves, and when they are on this gamma wave, they have experiences as their state of consciousness. This is another thing that comes from this. And then the quantum entanglement, this is another one that changed totally the relation between the client and the Healy. Are we in the studio now? Oh, we are full screen.
Yes, studio.
Yeah. Studio, okay. So, and do you think it's important? Yes, it is. When I was in medical school, it teach me all the time, hey, you split both. You don't get involved. You're separate from your client. Look at the lab. Don't listen to the mother. So what kind of medicine you build when you are separate from your client? I don't want to go all down the road with this, because it's awful. It's awful what's happening in Canada now. It's like, I practiced there for years, and I will never go back there, because it's like you separate the patient, become an object, and then taking care of that object, is not affordable anymore by the system, and then you create all kind of exit, to resolve the problem. So I don't want to go there. That's too much. It's too much controversy. Okay, but the question now is how we monitor this client now. What are the tools? Because that subspace, that consciousness, it's proven. You cannot have precise tool of measurement. This is another difficulty. In other words, you cannot assess this with lab and this, but you can assess this with indirect tool. In other words, in French we say par la bande, by the side, you can approach it looking with the instrument that indirectly give you an activity of this field. One is the GDV, the Kirlian photography, and this is what we will talk at this event. And what is the other one that is more, will kind of scale what I call the health potential. What is the one that we have access easily? And then as we have evolved to biofeedback, we have discovered heart rate variability. And this is another major event in medicine, because previously it's like you have the sympathetic parasympathetic that are kind of the controller of all our emotion, passive life, biology, that we cannot control. But in the Eastern medicine, people has knew that we can have an effect on the parasympathetic sympathetic. Yogi were able to kind of control their breathing. They could meditate and even be buried underground. So in other words, they knew it. But Western medicine, they said, oh, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay. So came biofeedback, and now we realize that, yes, we can have an impact. If you train the breathing, you can have an impact on the rhythm of your heart. And the concept of heart rate variability is kind of defined by the flexibility of the individual to adapt to stress. Because we found that the heart was beating like a clock. No, it's like there is a variation between every beat. More variation you have, more flexibility you have, better parasympathetic nervous system you have. So in other words, we have discovered through biofeedback that, hey, we are not passive. We can do something about our cardiovascular destiny. Same thing we have discovered, hey, nutrition is an important component on which you have, you are the master. In other words, it's like we are shifting from a passive medicine, conventional, where you fix problem to medication, and it's like, poor guy, there's nothing you can do, to a medicine of health potential, where the way you think and the way you eat and the way you breathe may have an impact on your physiology. And this is through this little instrument here. And I think people would think it's very simple, but it's a watch. You call that smartwatch today. And then you can monitor your heart rate variability. You can monitor your lifestyle, exercise, the way you sleep. And so in other words, it's a lot that you can hold on your wrist that can inform, give a feedback to your coach or doctor, holistic care, how you feel. Is it important? I remember, 40 years ago, going home to home with my little bag, just taking the blood pressure, and I will change, I want to change your lifestyle, but, it will give some kind of a connection with my client that was so important with them. And now we have, attached to our wrist, something that can monitor someone at distance, hundreds of parameters when I was just checking one as a medical doctor. So in other words, maybe my title, was giving me a nice aura, importance. But today, a coach trained at Quantum University, I call that exponential health coach, working on this exponential healthcare platform, can monitor these parameters, I wouldn't say 24/7, but continuously, and have a scale of the health potential of that individual. Do you think this can change healthcare? Of course it can change healthcare. And then when we do this, we are not in the territory of medicine. We don't need to treat you, we don't need to diagnose, we just need to cheer the client to a new lifestyle, new understanding, and cheer and shift the perspective, the perspective of the client from passive to active. So let's go to I think the time is flowing now. Let's go to the next slide. So again, we're talking about the biofield. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. This is Einstein. This is Dr. Lipton take again this concept, in this course, meaning that you can change the health reality to the field because this is the governing agency. So in other words, you impact the field, you have more impact than if you try to restore the balance through pharmaceutical and even surgery. This is what I call primacy of consciousness over the matter. And more this medicine that we're talking, this pro-consciousness medicine I'm talking about, will evolve with new technology, new way to approach the field. More we will see healing, correcting imbalance, preventing cancer. And by the way, we have documentation today about, prevent. You change your lifestyle, you probably will have like 90% less cancer than we have now. All the degenerative disease, the psychosomatic medicine, understanding the primacy of consciousness over matter. And there was a time we say, hey, mind over matter. I would say consciousness over matter. This is how important it is. It's a medicine of awareness, of course. Knowing about consciousness, I said this many times, something, because it's like talking about. We have books now. You can go online, do research. You go Gaia, you have conference about consciousness. The question is not just knowing, it's not just talking about it, it's about how we relate with this. And this is that could be probably another subject of conference, because there is a new event now coming, the AI. And people say, oh, I'm fear AI. AI will take over the nerves and take our work. This is not where should be the fear. The fear is like compared to internet 30, 40 years ago. People say, oh, internet this and internet that, and I will not never work with internet. The one that has didn't use internet and didn't evolve with it, all these companies have disappeared. It's like, and the same thing with AI. So in other words, you cannot go around AI. What is AI can do that I cannot do, and what the vice versa, AI is not a healer. Now you understand when I talk about poor consciousness medicine, the healer, the doctor, the coach, like, I wouldn't say that, I don't like the word medium, but it's like the bridge, to make that healing happen. It's like, where happened the healing? Is it because you put the leg in the cast when the bone is broken? No, you put just to realign the bone, and then life does the work. And same thing in healing. It's like healing is the outcome of the relation between the client, the healer, and this ground of being that we're talking about. So in other words, and AI will never replace that. More you are in the holistic medicine using tool that's related with the biofield, AI can never replace this. AI are algorithm processing information. You cannot beat that. It's impossible, to process information on the tip of your fingers, like using a calculator to do a calculation. This operates at a speed that you cannot catch up with it, but you can. One day I was talking to my AI, I say, hey, oh, sad you don't do transcendence, but she said, yeah, but I can help you with information, processing information. So in other words, it's an ally. Where I'm scared is more the human that is not evolved, the human that doesn't have this capacity to transcend, kind of evolve in this fourth state of consciousness and have a deeper perspective about reality. This is what I'm scared of. I'm scared of people that have opinions and not perspective. So, and this is what consciousness medicine brings: perspective, deeper perspective about our reality. So, I'm coming back to this. So, what is important is how you relate with it. And of course, meditating or doing transcendent activities help to enhance and understand what is the reality of the biofield. So you can see, how critical is the understanding of biofield. It design a new landmark, do frontier for healing, and then an access to this art of healing that you didn't have before. Because if you start to play on the territory of diagnosing, treating, if you shift the mindset of from in natural medicine, using the same mindset that you have in conventional medicine, maybe you do a little bit better. Okay, you work with vitamin and products, but still you don't have this, taste or refinement of what I call pro-consciousness medicine. Some researchers suggest that the biofield may be responsible for the coherence and stability of the body, physical structure. And so now we get in this concept in quantum physics, concept what we call negantropy, coherence. And this is another critical concept, because instead to talk about, sickness and this and that, we speak about maintaining the individual in coherence. We're talking about tools that will help to maintain this coherence that we're talking about. And what are they? The one that has been explored until now, meditation. Meditation is probably the greatest panacea that has never existed. because research and I review hundreds of articles showing that if you meditate, you have less cancer, less degenerative disease, less psychomas, less Alzheimer, less. Yes, why? Because we're talking about maintaining coherence, and then we shift to coherence to another service. It's preserve the capital, the life force of the individual. So in other words, if you focus on this every day, and then this is what is exponential at coaching. It's like you check at parameters that maintain this coherence. You look at parameters that check the quality of your sleep, if you have done exercise, the quality of your nutrition, and so on. What is this? And it's not that complicated. You have probably 4 targets. You just have to keep your eye on it, so that you maintain this coherence, and then this daily balance between what you expense in energy and what you restore. So this changed totally the perspective, when you age, where people are just watching, what disease they have. Now you're watching at the quality of your health potential. Anything on the biofield? I think I'm looking at the time now. It's flying. We just have 10 minutes. I want to have question. Just a second. Information transfer. Of course, this is where this is. Okay, okay, let's at this point. When I talk about transfer, it's just referring to just what I am speaking. Activities, meditation. This is where this transfer of life force happen. So I want to have interact with the participant now, take some question, and please, feel comfortable to talk about anything where you are in the curriculum or question you have about this concept. And if you contemplate to be in practice, what is change, what are the regulation out there, where I can get liability insurance, I can be covered for my practice, and so on. So please, Alihi, do we have any question from?
We don't have any questions yet.
Okay.
Please feel welcome to message any questions that you have in the chat, or if you raise your hand.
Okay, then I will ask the question. So, do I have people already in practicing? Or students that are contemplating to be in practice?
Yes, Kennedy says yes.
Okay. Can you put her on the talking? I guess
yes.
You can open the speaker.
Hi, Kennedy.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. So where you come from?
So I'm up in Burlington, Ontario, just outside Toronto, up here in Canada.
Okay. I come from Canada. I know very well Ontario.
Yep, I've read your book.
I visit your place too. You have alternative, holistic practitioner there.
There are. So I've been, I'm just about finished my master's. I'm pretty much just on my last course right now. So I've been doing it now for almost 4 years, and I've been practicing. I do bioenergetic medicine. I use a bioscan machine, and I basically, through acupuncture points in the hand, I measure frequencies basically of all organs and organ systems and pathogens. And then I use certain types of remedies that allow me on a testing plate to balance the energy in the body. And along with that, and lifestyle changes, and of course, other factors as well, is how I help people become healthy.
Are they homeopathic remedies?
They are homeopathic. It's a company right out of the United States. They're Physica Energetics.
Okay, but years ago, I went in Germany, and they were all of them already working with this, probably originated from Germany, no?
The technology is, I think, actually, Germany could actually be Russian as well, probably 70, 80 years old. So the technology has been around for a while, of course. It's also backed up by Vol, so that's part of the energy and the frequency part of it. And like I said, we use the remedies to balance the energy in the bodies. They are homeopathic, but it's nutritionals, intrinsics, and
Great.
homeopathic as well. So it's a combination depending on what level the person's health is at.
So are you doing this for a while or how many years?
I've been doing it for over 3 years. And to give you
Okay.
an example, I've tested over 640 people. So each
Oh.
person probably a number of times. So I've done the test thousands of times, literally.
Okay.
So
And
I've
it's
been doing it.
working for you. Can you share with us some result you have or?
Well, look, I work
already-
with, yep, I can. So what I can share with is this. So the perspective and my approach is never about obviously the condition or the symptoms. So I really believe in health practice in terms of approaching things from a health perspective. So Dr. Paul, it really doesn't matter to me whether it's hypothyroidism, whether it's gut issues, whether it's skin issues.
Great. Yeah.
The approach doesn't make it is always the same to me. People always ask me, what if it's cancer and what if it's something else? I said, well, look, if I was a medical doctor, I might look at it in a very linear way. But the fact that consciousness is the ground for everything, it really doesn't matter what the condition is. I always have certain, we have like, just like we've been taught here at Quantum University, even with bioenergetic medicine, a lot of the things we learn that there are stages on how you carry a person through health, of course, right? We begin with the physical body. We need to make sure that the body has the ability to methylate. The body doesn't have left spin in terms of cellular ability to absorb nutrients. You know, we want to make sure that the mineralization of the body is where it's supposed to be. And then from there, we move into addressing organs and organ systems. And then eventually we really start to begin to talk to people about the real root causes, the causative factors, because those causative factors might be pathogenic in relation, but at the end of the day, we all know that it's based on emotions that have come from thoughts which began somewhere in our conscious world. So yes, I've had a lot of success with people, but the key is this though. When people say, how successful is it? The key is the entanglement of myself with the patients. The ones you find the greatest entanglement with are the ones that always move forward with their health. The ones where you don't get the same entanglement of connection, I find they don't move forward as fast as they could. So I really do believe in that process of me being entangled with them. The ones I find I have the most connection with, the ones where we chat more often, I find that those are the ones who generally always work. So it isn't a question of whether they can or cannot get better. Everybody can heal. I just try to find the best ways to guide them through that healing journey.
So I hear you and I hear me talking. So
Well,
the curriculum has helped you, I guess, because you know, talking with this language is exactly what we talk about.
So I found this type of work a few years before I found the curriculum. And I'll tell you something.
Okay.
I looked everywhere in the world to find this curriculum. And when I was introduced to this university, through Physica Energetics, believe it or not, they're a causal chain remedy company out of the United States. They through a colleague of mine, this is how I found this university. And I'm not just saying this because I'm in it, because it sounds like someone's paid me to say it. There is nothing in the world, no one, and this is why I'm so grateful you've done this, who actually was able to put together everything I could have possibly have wanted in terms of information all under one roof. Can you imagine trying to find this education on your own? It would be impossible. I would, it's like a scattered world. You brought it all under one roof, and it's, I think, one of the greatest things in the world. Honestly, it sounds like I'm crazy, but honestly, it has changed my life.
Thank you. And I think we are family, okay? Because, you know, we have cell here and there. You know, when I came out out of Quebec and came in Hawaii, and then you know, sometimes you think, oh, maybe I'm the only one to think this way. But then, you know, as it goes, we discover cell everywhere. Now we are 118 countries. And then, you know, as we evolve to, you know, we attract people that are like, I would say, pioneers. You know, we think about Lipton and you say all the puzzle because you cannot have all the component yourself, you know, and genetic is very important. You know, it's like you cannot have redefine a curriculum without a new biology. You cannot define a new curriculum and Dispenza in terms of habits, change your lifestyle, is another one that has is a breakthrough. You know, I apply concept and it's fascinating. And and I would probably review the whole curriculum, but you know, from quantum physics to behavior to genetics to even Lynn McTaggart, I'm thinking about her now. So
Yep.
it's like a collegiality of people that resonate with a community of people all over the world. This is what is amazing. And I think we're in very exciting time, you know, because this is growing, you know, this is all the time about a critical number participants. And I believe we're just scratching the surface, but I'm very happy with your testimony. And you see, you express it with your tools, the way you have, you know, and this is also very unique because I see as many students, many practitioners, you have different, you know, type of practitioners. So it's very interesting. Thank you. Thank you to share that.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Alihi, do we have anyone else?
I have Catherine. She says she's on her first course. She's loving it. She's an RN practitioner.
Okay, let's put her on the
Hi, Catherine.
spotlight. So I
How are
have
you
a
today?
weakness for
Thank you.
nurse. I love to nurse that will go holistic because they follow my path, you know, from medicine to you know, start to explore other avenue of healing. So where you come from?
I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yes,
And now you're just starting but what was your practice before? You were working in a hospital, or what is the context?
I've been in and out of nursing for, you know, since I graduated with a bachelor's in 1977. And what's fascinating is I feel that my real education started at the age of about 25. I was in a hip to breast back brace after my lumbar back crumbling after being the charge nurse of an ICU for several years.
Oh,
And it was just like, whoa, okay, something is way off here. Because I'm in the same boat as all the people coming into the unit. They're not taking care of themselves, and I wasn't either. I worked myself right into the ground. I started listening to Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle on cassette tapes. And right. And from there, I started studying and went into the applied positive psychology. And I'm a certified transformational life coach, but my real passion is, you know, working with people to give them practical things that they can actually use. I'm a creator of the Sunshine Quotient and working with the light. And I was introduced to Quantum University through my work, through my study of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work.
oh.
And that's how I landed with Quantum University. And as soon as I started looking at your material, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so in.
I belong to this guy, with these people, right?
Right.
So
Right.
which course did you start with?
Oh, I am in the master's to PhD program in integrative medicine. So I'm right now in the
Okay.
pro consciousness medicine module, right?
Okay, good. I think it's a good starter, you
Yep.
know. And when you look at the curriculum, what is you contemplating to go next?
Pardon
What are
me?
the titles what are the subjects that are exciting you in the curriculum? Because you all me, I do this. I open a book, I look at the chapter, I try to find, you know, what are my peak of interest. So
Well, I love learning. I'm actually learning the language of the biofield and learning about, you know, the marvelous vessels and, you know, all of these things that are coming into play, because things that I have sensed but didn't have the vocabulary for.
yeah.
And when I work with clients, I'm really delighted to say that they're getting so much better outcomes, right? And these
Great.
typically, you know, for instance, a gal that was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and she had like, I think, a 4 centimeter mass in the colon, and it had metastasized to the liver, and she was not a surgical candidate. And they said, but you know, you can do the chemo, and you know, we'll see where we go. And I met her through a mutual friend who's also a nurse. And what's fascinating is my approach with her was just instinctual. And within 3 months, she was a surgical candidate, and the mass in the colon was gone.
Wow.
And so then she had the surgery, and they implanted, you know, the liver pump. And within 4 months of that, what was in the liver was, you know, pretty much minimal. And so I love what you're talking about partnering with treatment, but also understanding about the self-responsibility and the self-discovery, right? And that's what's so exciting for me.
Yeah, and then this is what is integrative. It's not we side apart the medicine, but you know,
Yes.
we want to have a bigger plate to be able to help the client, you know. So, and I like this to have this story written somewhere, because we need more testimonial. And I have so many here, many time people, you know, with stage 4 cancer. And one of our guests at this convention will be you know, the sculpturist Ali. Help me. The name yeah, and one of our guests, the guy who does sculptures, has a stage 4 cancer, will be at our event.
Farah?
Huh?
Farah?
Yeah, Farah.
Yeah.
So, and you saw him in the video, and people say, you know, what the heck are you doing? Are you bringing this guy? You see, he's yeah, most of the time our students are not culturists, bodybuilder, but he has an incredible story of even doing all these activities. He got diagnosed stage 4. And then he get in the program, and then he start to change the lifestyle and the mindset, and it's all the time. Hey, you know, I had information about health, but I didn't have it all. So it's not all the time an aspect. And then you have this it's not a spontaneous healing. It was a long journey for him. And I wrote a blog also about others, you know, that has. And I love to hear this story. So we should have sometime a place in our blog where we can have this storyteller, you know.
Yeah, that's
that-
Dr. George Farah, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's correct.
We have just one more comment here from
Okay.
Natalia.
Thank you for your sharing this information with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Natalia says she's a professional athlete and coach, and started her journey to become a natural medicine doctor, and she's loving learning from you, Natalia.
Can you put her in the spotlight?
Yes. Hi, Natalia, are you there?
Hello, can you see me? That's my first time using that, so I don't know if I'm using them correctly. Can you see
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you. Alihi,
Oh,
you see her?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, where you come from?
So right now I'm living in Florida, but I'm from Brazil.
Oh,
Yes.
so are you in United States since a long time, or you just arrived, or?
Yes, actually, I was born in New York, but I was raised in Brazil. And then I came back to US about 10 years ago. So I've been living here for a while.
Okay. And what are you doing? You said professional athlete. What is your journey?
Yes. Well, you just talk about Georgia Flower. I'm also a bodybuilder and a bodybuilder
Oh,
coach. Yes, I am a professional bodybuilder. I've been competing since I was 16 years old. I'm 26
wow,
now, and I'm one of the youngest bodybuilders to become pro in United States.
wow. So you know George?
Yes, I do. I was actually in the same competition. I believe it was last year, the New York Pro. I was competing. He was there. He was watching the competition, and I was on stage. And he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. Were you at his when he launched his movie with Netflix?
No, I couldn't go, but I watched it and I was supporting him all throughout. Like, it was amazing.
He has a quite a communicative personality. You know, he's someone, you know, very interesting. So, and what about you with the course? What is your plan? Are you starting? Or are you in the middle of the class? Or
So, I am pretty much in the middle. I'm in my master's right now. I finished my bachelor and I'm going towards the doctor degree. I have already a background in gut health. Like
okay.
this
Oh
is
yeah,
like a
this
big,
is the big thing now.
right? This is a big passion of mine. And I started studying a lot because as a professional athlete, everything that I do, like in the outside and in the inside is like interconnected. So I was always very interested in the natural medicine and everything that I can do to improve my performance, my mindset, all the meditation, the breathing techniques, all the stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then I realized how much we can pretty much like change our blood, change everything that is happening internally just by little lifestyle changes. I've helped so many people. I have so many like athletes who had some serious like disease. And I was
Oh,
just watching one of your lectures about the assimilation of the nutrients. A lot
oh
of
yeah.
people eating a lot of things, they are not actually absorbing it. So small things like that pretty much drove me into looking into the natural medicine degree. I have a lot of certifications and a lot of personal training and gut health, herbs, all this stuff that I've been studying on myself. But when I found the university, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I'm passionate about because I'm young, I have a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and I know I can change the next generation. So I'm like, I need to be part of it. It's a big movement that I want to be part of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would say it's a cultural healing movement. And are you planning to have a clinic or?
I don't know, like initially I didn't have many plans, but after I started the classes, I am so excited. I might have to. It's just like I see so many opportunities right now that I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like all the
Great.
stories that I hear, all the testimonials, I'm like, I know I can make such a big impact. So let's
Will
see,
you are you coming in Hawaii in October?
I will be competing in the biggest competition in the world. It's called
Ah,
Olympia, and it's
oh la
1 week before. And I'm
la.
like,
Yeah,
well, maybe I can make it. I don't know. I would love to. I'm trying
yeah.
to. I don't know if you ever heard about the Olympia. This is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. It's the biggest competition in the world, and I
Wow.
won this time. It's the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger won.
Oh,
So that's how he became famous. And I started. I was actually the winner like 2 years ago, and last year I got second. So this year I'm coming back to try to regain my title. So it's a big deal. But if I can, I'll be there in Hawaii for sure.
so if you're not, then post, we have like alumni association, you can share, testimony and, talk about what you're doing.
Yes,
I
yes.
think after this event, Georgia Farah will be very popular. And if you add your info, that would be exciting. That would be exciting.
Absolutely. I would do that with a lot of, honor.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you to share this with us. How we do with time? Don't is it?
We're about
We passed the hour. So do we have other?
We
that are
have
in line?
no other
That-
questions. We have a couple. Joanne, who is about to complete her
Her
PhD,
program?
and she's working on
Okay.
her thesis.
Is she graduating in October? Because this is an opportunity when we do the event in Hawaii. We didn't do it for years now.
Mhm.
We have an evening where people will walk the graduation ceremony. It's very exciting. Can you ask her if she? And
Joanne,
most of the time, you know, when people are preparing their PhD, writing their paper, they want to be finished before the convention so they could walk, the graduation ceremony live.
yes. Hi, Joanne. I've emailed with you before, and congratulations on all of your progress. Will you be attending the in-person graduation and event this October? Okay, Joanne's not on mute, but we can't hear her.
Okay.
I do have Kennedy wants to make one final comment, if possible.
Okay, sure. Come in.
Yes. So the comment I just wanted to make, even today you spoke about entanglement and we speak about the biofield, and I thought this would be interesting for the participants online tonight. I have patients all over the world, and people say, well, how do you deal with someone in Australia or in Iran or Italy or all over the United States? So people send me hair samples, but it's not the hair that I test. I put the hair on a testing plate. I become the actual host. But because I have a picture of the patient and I've spoken to the patient and I create the intention of that person's energy in the room with the hair, I actually test these people and the results are different for every single person. And of course, it works. So if you don't believe there really is a biofield and intention really matters and entanglement doesn't, there's living proof. And Dr. Paul, I do this. I have more patients in the US and in other parts of the world than I do in Canada. And most people are all virtual. They just send me their hair samples and that's how I test them.
So did you see when I present the healing chamber? This is exactly what we are doing, and we will talk this at the event. And this is when we talk about entanglement, non-locality. Of course, we can work on client at distance. And I've engineered, what I call the healing chamber, evoking this same principle, and microtubule and non-locality, Lynn is she already doing some kind of work at distance. So there is science behind this. And then it's also available, for the coach on our platform. They would be able to collect. Usually we can take picture, as you said. Now we introduce the dry blood. I don't know if you're familiar. I talk about this in the curriculum because you have live blood that require high resolution microscopy, but the dry blood can be done with a very simple low resolution microscope. And then we will address this at the event. So, and then we put a program on the Exponential Healthcare platform where Dr. Tara Denise explained, she called that wellness at your fingertip. She explained how because everybody poke their blood today themselves, glycemic people and so on. So you can do this, you can put this in a slide, you can send this to your coach, you can take picture with your phone. And then we put this on this healing chamber, which is integrating a vortex biofeedback. Then it's like and already you're doing this. So healing chamber will be a way for the coach to put their client on this healing chamber. So it will support the healing. Yeah, I think it's a fascinating concept. So, and then were you aware of it? Did you hear about this healing chamber?
I was not aware, but I had not heard, but I will
Okay.
definitely look into
So
it.
you go on Project Noosphere, right?
Yes.
the thing is there. I have written, you go my blog, there's 2-3 blog written on this. I explain the whole thing. And then at the event, we will experience this. In other words, we will have a meditation room where we recreate this idea of vortex. And then we take picture GDV before, after, blood before, after, and then we will, experience, this idea. Now, this is what I'm talking about. In the years to come, you will have technology like ever that will be done to this idea of biofield. So now, and the beauty of it is like, hey, we don't say treat, we don't say diagnose. We work at another level where there is no regulation. There's like a free. it's like a free space for healing. So in other words, people cannot go after you because you work with the biofield, because hey, what is it doesn't exist in medicine, if you follow what I'm saying. So this is very exciting, but it's coming, so thank you to share your experience.
Thank you.
I think we gone. Do we have anybody else, Lihi, or?
I think that's everyone.
Okay, so we are I think 10-15 minutes after the hour. I don't want to make it too long. Thank you for all your participation. Let's grow our family of practitioner. Welcome you to this event in October, and I'd like to see you in person. Thank you.